Hello, welcome back guys to another video. This time about my Champions League round of 16 predictions of the second leg. So yeah, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on these. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about the first leg and of the games that happened today and yesterday of the top 5 leagues. So yeah, let's get right into it. And I might have some epic comebacks because there could happen. There, there could be some comebacks in this round of 16. So yeah, let's get right into it. Starting off with probably one of the most, I'm not gonna waste your time with this. Bodo Glimt against Sporting. Now, the first leg, Bodo Glimt are gonna continue their Cinderella run. Huh? They are. They crushed Sporting CP 3 goals to 0. So yeah, and that makes them the 5th win in a row. First, they beat Manchester City 3 goals to 1. Then they beat then they beat Atletico Madrid 2 goals to 1. Then again they won two games in a row against Inter Milan 3-1 and 2-1, and now they've defeated Sporting 3 goals to 0. And probably this might give them a ticket to the quarterfinals. I would love to see that. So yeah, Sporting, yeah, that was not a good performance from them. Yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty sure Bodo Glimt's key players are Vet, Kasper Hoch, Jens Peter Hauge, etc. But Sporting, they have a good striker, Colomeno, Luis Suarez. So yeah, so I think Bodo Glimt are gonna advance to the quarterfinals. So my prediction is gonna be, Sporting are gonna win this game 2 goals to 1. So, but Bodo Glimt they still qualify to the next round. Moving on to Arsenal versus Bayer Leverkusen. Now the first game, it gave Arsenal a scare because first, Leverkusen scored off a corner to give Arsenal a taste of their own medicine. But then, in a dying moment, this was probably one of the softest penalty, bro. That was one of the most softest penalties I've ever seen in my life. Bruh. Madueke clearly dived. He clearly dived to give just to give Arsenal a penalty, and yeah, Kai Havertz scored to tie the game 1-1 and give higher advantage to Arsenal. Well, man, I would have loved to see Leverkusen win, because if that happened, if we win our next game against Newcastle, I think that gives us, we will probably like get an easier pathway to the final. I mean, not easy. If that happens, we have to beat Atletico Madrid, and then we'll probably be in the final. So if we beat Leverkusen or Bodo Glimt, so hopefully, yeah. So yeah, but then Arsenal, they just beat Everton 2-0 yesterday. Max Daumann, history, becoming the youngest ever player to score in the Premier League. 16 years since this 16 years. Score Premier League goal. Dang. Only 1 year ago he was 15. That is just crazy. So yeah. Now Leverkusen, they tied to Bayern Munich 1-1, showing that they could pull off a surprise. They could pull off a surprise because their record against English clubs are good. They beat Man City in the Champions League phase back in November, 2 goals to 0. They even kept a clean sheet. Wow. Yeah, probably the key players to watch out for are Malik Tillman, the American, who else? Gerald Kwanzaa, who else? The guy who scored, Robert Andrich, and yeah, Nathan Tell is also really well. Tapsoba, absolute stud in the back line of Leverkusen. So yeah, Arsenal, they'll probably score off a corner again. So, but you know what? A surprise could happen. It could happen. But Arsenal, they're probably gonna win. I just think they're gonna win. I want Leverkusen to win, but I just think Arsenal are they're too strong for Leverkusen, and they're gonna win, but slightly. 2 goals to 1, and they advance to the quarterfinals to play Bodo Glimt. Now moving on to probably again a repeat of the Club World Cup final. PSG versus Chelsea. Now, the first game was super entertaining. I did not watch it, but I did watch the highlights. So it was really entertaining. So like it all started off in the 10th minute where Bradley Barcola scored a goal to put PSG up 1-0. And then Malo Gusto scored to tie the game 1-1. And then PSG scored again. Ousmane Dembele, the Ballon d'Or winner, scored. But then Enzo Fernandez scored 2-2. And then Vitinha scored because their goalkeeper made one of the biggest mistakes. But I know what is going on with the goalkeepers. What is going on with the goalkeepers in the round of 16? They made so many mistakes. Also the Kinski, the Tottenham goalkeeper. We will talk about him in a moment. It's just that they have and then Chelsea scored, but it was an offside. But then Kvaratskhelia Kvaratskhelia scored two stunning goals to like for PSG to finish the game off. 5 goals to 2. Now PSG they just had a break, so their squad is probably most likely fit. But Chelsea actually played well. They played well during that first leg, but somehow this weekend they lost to Newcastle United 1-0. They even lost in their own home ground. So I thought Chelsea could come back because they actually played well. They played well against PSG. It's just that their goalkeeper let them down. If they had Robert Sanchez, I guarantee you they would have gone at least a draw against PSG. But Sanchez wasn't in goal, so they had the backup keeper, Jorgensen, Danish. Maybe Cole Palmer might cook. They might even come back. They might even replicate the score in the Club World Cup final. 3-0. But the way Chelsea played versus Newcastle yesterday, I don't think it's going to happen. I do not think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to come back well. So I think the game is going to finish 1-1. And PSG go through to the quarterfinals. Sorry, Chelsea. So now moving on to probably a more higher anticipated matchup. Real Madrid versus Manchester City. This game was an absolute cracker to watch. I watched this game and Valverde scored a hat-trick. Well, I'm very disappointed in Man City. Very, very, very. I think they should have done a good job. So the game started like this. Valverde scored after like a goalkeeper mistake. Then he scored after a breathtaking volley, and then he scored after doing a tiki-taka with Brahim Diaz and chipped the ball over Mark Guehi and scored. I mean, I have to admit, it was a pretty good hat-trick. It was. But now, can Manchester City come back versus Real Madrid? Well, the question is going to be very tight. Well, since Real Madrid just won 4-1 against Elche, it could be very, very tight. Imagine, I would love to see Manchester City come back. They just beat Elche 4-1, but of course, bro, it's Elche, relegation battling La Liga team. Well, but Man City, they dropped points to West Ham away from home. But it was West Ham, and they weren't even playing the strongest lineup. It's just because they want to like save their players. And they even said 90 minutes in the Etihad Stadium is a long time. I would love to see a Man City come back. And you know what? They could be right. Well, since Real Madrid are missing a lot of key players, I think the Man City could come back here. If Haaland is clinical and Semenyo starts cooking. Like Cherky, if he also cooks, If Rodri starts cooking against Real Madrid, it could definitely cause Real Madrid some problems. That's what I would love to see that happen, but I think Man City are going to give it out their all. I think they're going to focus on the Champions League more instead of the Premier League. Because Arsenal, they're probably going to win the Premier League. So, I might go for a shocking prediction that will actually shock you. I think that Manchester City are going to come back. You heard it here first. Manchester City are going to win 3-0. It's going to go straight to penalties. And Man City are going to win on penalties. That's my first upset of the video. That's my first upset of the video. I just said it. Real Madrid to get knocked out. Please, Man City, I'm begging you. Please come back. I would love to see Real Madrid get knocked out in a very silly way. I would love to see that. So, yeah. I got Man City going through. So, yeah. Now, moving on to Barcelona versus Newcastle. So, Barcelona versus Newcastle. So, the first leg, it did not go as planned for Barcelona. Newcastle were the much better team. And, yeah, they dominated us. They dominated us from, like, the first minute to the last. But I just think we got lucky. But, yeah, they had 16 shots and we had 10 shots, which is just really better. I think we should do better for this performance. But, yeah, but then when Newcastle scored, it was in the 85th minute, thanks to Harvey Barnes after he finished the ball in the back of the net to probably send Newcastle to Camp Nou with an advantage. But then Lamine Yamal came in clutch to save us, and of course I went crazy after he scored that because I thought we lost, and it was going to be very difficult for us to come back versus Newcastle. And then Lamine Yamal, thank you, you saved us. So yeah, now Newcastle, as I mentioned before, they beat Chelsea. They are going to be super hard to break down. It's going to be super hard to break them down, especially with Anthony Gordon. He's a key player to watch out for. Same as other players like Nick Woltemade, Johan Wissa, Dan Burn, Bruno Guimaraes, if he's back, yeah. Harvey Barnes, of course, Antonio Langa, lightning fast man, and Tonali. So, I think, and Barcelona, yeah, we beat Sevilla in the weekend 5-2, great performance. Again, if we play like that against Newcastle, it might cause them some problems. But right now, I don't think going against, as much as I love the high line, I don't think we should use it against ultra fast teams like Newcastle, because as you saw in the first game, the high line did cause us some problems. Anthony Elanga, he went past two Barcelona defenders. He is super fast, and then we can't even catch up. And that's how the first goal came from. It came from a brilliant run from Jacob Murphy. He went past some Barcelona defenders, and then they finished the ball on the back of the net because Araujo wasn't marking him. So I think the high line could cause us some problems. But if we play good, like we did against Sevilla, we could give Newcastle some problems. But I know this game is going to be so tough. I hope we win, and I think that's what happen. That's what's gonna happen, and I think we're gonna slightly win this game, 2-1. I think we're gonna win 2-1. Again, no clean sheet, but I think we're gonna win 2-1. Rashford's getting on the score sheet. We should probably play him at striker, and Rafinha. Yeah, we should also play Rafinha. We need to see Rafinha more from Rafinha. The hat-trick against Sevilla was really good. So yeah, so I think Barcelona is gonna beat Newcastle. So yeah, I'm not gonna waste your time here because the Atletico Madrid obviously won 5-2. It started off from a goal from Marcos Llorente, and in the 6th minute, and then they scored again thanks to a mistake from Kinski, the goalkeeper. And yeah, they scored again. They scored 3 goals in 17 minutes, which caused Kinski, the goalkeeper, to get subbed out. That was just. It was funny, but it was also pretty. I feel bad for the goalkeeper. He got subbed out. Even the Atleti fans were applauding for him because, yeah, of course, they felt bad for him. I get that feeling, man. I kind of feel bad, but Atletico deserved the win. So I think this game is probably the game is just simply done and dusted for this game and for some other games that are coming up. But yeah, Atletico Madrid. So yeah, they won their game in La Liga, but Spurs got a surprising point against Liverpool after they scored a last-minute winner. But I still think that Atletico Madrid are going to go through. Just too easy. So, yeah, I think the game will finish in a 1-1 draw. I think Spurs are going to get lucky. And Atletico Madrid, they're probably going to play their B team. So, yeah, I think it's going to finish in a 1-1 draw, and Atletico Madrid advance to the next round. So, yeah. Now, moving on to Bayern versus Atalanta. Now, I do not want to waste your guys' time again with this game because, again, super easy to predict. The first game was a piece of cake for Bayern Munich. They won 6-1. Olise scored 2 goals, and Musiala, again, I'd like to see that. I want to see Musiala cook for Bayern after his injury. That was Really good performance, 6-1. I know they dropped the points to Leverkusen this weekend, but I think that Bayern Munich got this game in the bag. Of course, and they're playing at home in the Allianz Arena. But fair play to Atalanta. They fought a really good fight in this competition. They even came back against Dortmund in the playoffs. So yeah, I think that Bayern Munich are gonna advance. Sorry, but yeah, Luis Diaz is probably gonna cook. Harry Kane, please. I think they're gonna play their B team. So I think Bayern Munich easily got this game in the bag. So yeah, Bayern advanced to the next round, and yeah, we're starting out and we're ending with a very difficult game to predict. Liverpool versus Galatasaray. Okay, this game is gonna be super difficult to predict. So starting off in the first leg, it was the same score as the Champions League phase game, 1-0, just as before. Mario Lemina scored off a corner. So yeah, I think Liverpool might struggle against Galatasaray. Galatasaray have a really good attack. So I think that this game is gonna be tough because Liverpool, they just dropped points to Spurs this weekend, 1-1. Yeah, Szoboszlai, he's cooking, he's carrying Liverpool because yeah, he scored another free kick, and yeah, if that happens, it could bring Galatasaray some problems. But yeah, Galatasaray, their fans are not allowed to come to Liverpool. I don't know why, so they might struggle. So Liverpool, the only thing that concerns me is the defense. That the defense is not playing well. So I know they have great players like Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Mo Salah, Milos Kerkez, Virgil van Dijk, Dominic Szoboszlai, Alexis McAllister, etc. Yeah, Galatasaray, they have a dangerous attack with Leroy Sané and Victor Osimhen. They also have Gundogan, great player in the midfield that could bring Liverpool some problems. So yeah, Osimhen is probably the key man to look out for. So I think that this game is probably the closest one to come. Can Liverpool come back? Oof, so tough, but I just think Galatasaray they're just gonna come back. They're just gonna come back. I mean, they're just gonna go through. It's gonna finish 3-3 and Galatasaray go through. Sorry, Liverpool fans, but I think you guys are gonna go out again because the way you guys played against Tottenham, it's just not acceptable. A relegation battle in Tottenham as well. So I think Galatasaray are gonna win. So yeah, those are my predictions. Hopefully you enjoy them, and yeah, we'll see you next time.